Imagine waking up tomorrow and finding out your job is gone, or your car breaks down, or your boiler stops working in the middle of winter. How long could you survive financially? 1 month? 2 weeks? Tomorrow? Because this is the reality for millions of people across the UK. People working hard every month, but living with almost no financial protection if life suddenly changes. And the problem is, life doesn't ask permission before sending the bill. Because the unpredictable is actually predictable. Problems will come at some point. Unexpected expenses will happen. We just never know when. And that's why today we're talking about something that will probably never go viral, but could completely change your financial future. Because building an emergency fund is not optional. It is one of the most urgent financial priorities anyone should have. Because before investing, before building wealth, before financial freedom, you first need protection. When people hear the words emergency fund, they think savings, money sitting in a bank account, money doing nothing, a high account balance waiting there. And that's exactly why many people delay building one. Most people look at an emergency fund and think, what's the point? Why leave money there? But an emergency fund is not just savings sitting somewhere. It is financial protection. It is breathing space. It is time. Because when life happens, money becomes options. It protects you from debt. It protects you from panic. It protects you from making bad decisions when life becomes difficult. Because emergencies are predictable in one way. They will come. The unpredictable part is only when. And sometimes life sends more than one problem at the same time. You lose your job, then the car breaks, then a family emergency appears. And suddenly the problem is no longer income. The problem becomes time. And emergency funds buy time. Let's imagine someone living in the UK, earning around £2,300 net per month. Nothing extreme, just normal. Now let's see reality. Rent, £900. Council tax, utilities and internet, £250. Groceries, £300. Transport, £200. Phone, £40. Insurance, £120. Subscriptions, £40. Miscellaneous, £250. Total, around £2,100. Money left? Maybe £200? Maybe less. And this is where many people live. Salary comes in, salary goes out. Month after month. Then life happens. Tyres, £350. Service, £300. Unexpected repair, £800. Boiler replacement, £2,000. Family emergency, unexpected travel. And suddenly, everything changes. The emergency fund you never built becomes debt. Credit cards, stress, pressure. Not because you were irresponsible, because life happened before you were ready. Let's think about something. What actually happens when people don't have an emergency fund? Most people think, I'll just use a credit card. But that creates a chain reaction. Emergency happens, debt appears, interest starts. Next month becomes harder. Savings become impossible. Stress increases, and suddenly one unexpected event becomes 6 months of financial recovery. The emergency itself was not always the problem. The lack of preparation was. Because debt often starts with emergencies, not lifestyle. And this is where many people stop listening. Because they think, great advice, but my salary already disappears every month. How am I supposed to build an emergency fund when there's nothing left at the end? And honestly, that is the reality for many people. Income equals expenses. Sometimes expenses are even higher. And this is where most people give up. But giving up is not the answer. Because emergency funds are not built by rich people. They are built by ordinary people creating margin. And sometimes margin is not created by spending less. Sometimes margin is created by earning more. I remember when I started building my emergency fund. At the time, my income was almost identical to my expenses. Rent, bills, food, life. By the end of the month, almost nothing remained. And I tried reducing expenses, but there wasn't much left to cut. Life was already simple. At that point, I didn't have a spending problem anymore. I knew exactly where my money was going. I was financially controlled, but I had no margin. So I realized something. I needed temporary extra income. I started doing weekend courier work. Cold mornings, rainy days, long shifts when staying home would have been easier. While most of my friends in similar situations were resting on weekends, I was working. Not for luxury, not for lifestyle, not for a better car. Protection. Every extra pound had one destination: my emergency fund. £300 one month, £400 another, £250 the next. Slowly, it started growing. £500, £1,000, £2,000. Eventually, 6 months of expenses. And something changed. Not only financially, mentally. Because for the first time, I stopped feeling trapped. I knew if something happened, I had time. Time to think, time to improve, time to make decisions without pressure. And eventually, that emergency fund gave me confidence to improve my knowledge and move into better opportunities. Because emergency funds create options. They give you the ability to think without pressure, to make decisions without panic. I knew someone earning well. Good salary, comfortable life, nice car, good income. From the outside, everything looked fine. But there was one problem: no emergency fund. Then redundancy happened, and within weeks, pressure started. Mortgage, bills, family, responsibilities. And because there was no buffer, there was no time. The first opportunity became the only option. The salary wasn't the issue. The lack of preparation was. Because emergencies don't only affect low earners, they affect everyone. I like thinking about emergency funds in stages. Stage 1. Your first £1,000. This protects you from smaller emergencies. Repairs, unexpected bills, appliances. Then stage 2. 3 months of expenses. If your living expenses are £2,000, your target becomes £6,000. For many people, this already changes life. But some people should go further. Stage 3. 6 to 9 months. Especially if you are self-employed, you have children, single income household, unstable industry, or simply want extra security. Because responsibilities increase risk, and risk increases the value of time. So what if your salary already equals your expenses? Create temporary income. Not forever, temporarily. Weekend courier work, parcels delivery, food delivery, warehouse shifts, pet sitting, cleaning, selling unused items, marketplace, freelance work. Imagine only £300 extra per month. That becomes £3,600 per year, enough to build a solid emergency fund. And remember, you are not buying luxury. You are buying protection. You are buying peace. You are buying time. And another mistake people make: keeping emergency money in their current account. Current accounts rarely pay meaningful interest, and they keep the money visible all the time, making it easier to touch money that was never meant to be spent. Keep it somewhere safe, slightly out of sight, somewhere you know it exists, but you don't see it every time you open your banking app. Accessible, protected. Growth comes later. Emergency funds are not there to make you rich, not to grow 100% per year. Their job is protection, stability, security. So let me ask you one final question. If your income stopped today, how long could you survive? 1 month? 2 weeks? Tomorrow? Because that answer alone can change your financial future. Building an emergency fund will probably never make headlines. Nobody posts pictures celebrating 6 months of expenses. Nobody shows emergency funds on social media. But it may become one of the smartest financial decisions of your life. Because wealth is not only about making money, it is about surviving difficult moments. Avoiding debt, avoiding panic, avoiding desperation. Because when life tests people, many realize they were never prepared. So start small. £50, £100, whatever you can. Build your first £1,000, then 3 months, then 6. Because financial freedom does not begin with investing, it begins with stability. And sometimes, the greatest financial achievement is simply knowing tomorrow won't break you. And if this video helped you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And in the next video, we'll talk about the options we have to keep emergency funds safe, to stop inflation quietly reducing their value.